Have you ever wondered how much a website like this will normally cost to design and develop? Probably tens of thousands of dollars. Complex animation, premium layout, advanced interaction, polished UI system. Usually, this type of website take an entire team. But in this video, I'm going to show you how I recreate this kind of premium experience way faster using AI workflow. Not to copy a website, but to use this as an inspiration, extract the design DNA behind it, and rebuild something unique with the same level of quality. We will go section by section, improve the layout, add animation, fix the detail manually when needed, and turn a basic clone structure into something that actually feels premium. So let's get started. Alright, now let's go back to my AI builder. I'm using aura.build for this workflow. Aura has a feature that lets you import any website URL, which automatically generates a design MD file behind the scene. And honestly, this is the powerful part of the workflow. Instead of only copying visual, it helps extract the design system of the website like the typography, spacing, layout, structure, color, and overall design DNA. So here, you can either type the website name directly in the prompt, or just click on the link icon and paste the full URL. When you start typing, Aura will automatically suggest the correct link so you can quickly verify if it's the right one. If not, just paste the full link manually. Now, once you're ready, just click on Import. Aura will analyze the homepage screenshot and also extract the design system from the site. Once the import is finished, Aura automatically generates the file for you, including the design MD and the import structure. It also writes the base prompt automatically, so you don't really need to do anything unless you want to customize or improve the result yourself. So here, on the left side, you have the image reference, and on the right, you have the design MD. If you click on Preview, you will see the full image of the site that Aura is going to use as reference. Basically, what you see here is what it will try to recreate. It's not always perfect, but it gives you a really solid base to start from. Now, for the design MD, this is actually really important. It's basically a structured breakdown of the design system of the website. So it includes things like color, typography, spacing, font weight, sometimes even animation guideline and layout rule. You can think of it like the DNA of the design. Aura uses to keep consistency when generating the layout so everything feels like the original site. One thing you want to check before generating, make sure the image reference look correct. Sometimes, if the site has too many animation or complex effect, Aura might only capture part of the page, like just the hero section. Like this one, for example. If that happens, it's better to keep that site or try another one because it will only generate what it sees. Now, for the setup, you can choose between HTML or React. I will keep it on HTML. And for the model, I'm going to generate with Gemini 3.1 Pro. Because from my experience, it consistently gives the best UI generation and the most creative result. The layout usually feels more polished, more artistic, and closer to premium landing page quality. You can also use GPT 5.1 if you want stronger reasoning, better structure, and more detailed generation. It's very powerful for high-quality UI output and understanding complex prompts. Or you can choose Closed Opus if your goal is to create more advanced interaction, complex animation, or more functional code-heavy section. But for this project, I will go with Gemini 3.1 Pro because it usually gives me the best balance between creativity, UI quality, and overall visual direction. Here, Aura also suggests using the Taiwan Design System V4 for this prompt. The purpose is basically to help the generation stay more structured and consistent, especially if you're building with Taiwan CSS. It can help with things like spacing, color, radius, component, and responsive layout. So you don't have to use it every time, but if your project is using Taiwan, I recommend clicking Use because it gives the AI a cleaner design foundation before generating the page. All right, let's see what it gives us. So sometimes the result might look a bit different, or you might not get all the section, and that's totally fine. The goal here is not perfection. The goal is to get the style, the typography, and the color system. You can just prompt what you want to add, and Aura will keep the same design style automatically without you needing to describe everything again from scratch. Now, if we go back to the image reference, we can see the result is not perfect. There's no real background and a lot of area are still empty. But that's okay, because the important part is already there. We have a structure and the layout as a placeholder. From here, we don't need to regenerate the whole page again. We can simply fill the missing content manually, then improve everything section by section. And this is where the workflow becomes more precise. Instead of asking AI to fix the entire page at once, we're going to take a screenshot from the original live website, use them as a visual reference, and reprompt each section one by one. Once the page is generated, you might notice small issue like this. For example, here the borders are way too visible. They look almost pure white, and some text area don't have enough contrast, like this section. This can happen when Aura try to follow the DesignMD and Taiwan system at the same time. It understands the structure, but sometimes it makes the visual token too strong, like border, shadow, or mute text. So before we improve the layout, I like to fix the global style first. I'm going to replace all custom border class with border white 10 or border white 20. Use border white 20 only for main container and border white 10 for card, divider, and small UI implement, and I will improve the text contrast in dark core and keep the same layout and design system. Do not redesign the section, only fix the visual balance. Quick important tip before we generate. When you reprompt an existing page, make sure you select edit mode. Edit mode only change the part of the code that need to be updated, so it's faster and safer. If you select generate, Aura will try to regenerate the entire page again. Then that can take longer, and with a larger code base, it may fail or change part of the design that you already fixed. So to be safe, I usually stay in edit mode, especially when I'm improving section by section. And if the generation fail, don't worry, just refresh the page, try again, and you won't lose your credit. Perfect. Now this already looks much better. The borders are more subtle, the dashboard feels cleaner, and the overall contrast is easier to read. So this is an important lesson. When AI give you a good base but one visual detail keep breaking. Sometimes the fastest solution is not another prompt. Sometimes it's just a small code adjustment. Now that the global style is fixed, we can move to the real pro workflow. So I'm going to start with the hero section first. Okay, now I'm going to take a screenshot of the hero section from the original website. But instead of capturing everything, I will focus only on the dashboard because the header and the text content is already fine. that we're missing is the visual quality and the detail inside the dashboard. So I will take the screenshot, then go back into Aura, select only the hero section in design mode, and now I will reprompt just this part. This is important. If you want to change multiple sections, you can prompt on the left side. But in this case, I want full control. So I'm improving it section by section. Now let's push it further. So now, inside the prompt panel, I'm going to attach my screenshot. You can do that by clicking on the attach file icon right here. Quick note, you can only add up to 2 files at the same time. So just keep that in mind. In my case, I'm only adding the dashboard screenshot since that's the part I want to improve. Then, in the prompt field, I'm going to describe exactly what I want. Try to be as clear and detailed as possible here, because this is what guides the result. The more precise you are, the better the output will be. And once everything is ready, I will just click on Apply Change and let's see the result. And don't worry, all the prompts used in this tutorial are included in the description. Alright, so this is the result. And honestly, the dashboard looks really good. We now have more detail, better depth, the floating card, and overall it feels much more alive. So this part is working exactly how we want. But now you can see something unexpected. The background changed to this purple and blue gradient. This happens sometimes when you use image reference. The AI tried to blend the visual style of the screenshot into the whole section, not just the dashboard. So instead of keeping our original black background, it applied the glow and color from the reference globally. And this is a really important thing to understand. AI doesn't always isolate change perfectly. Sometimes it affects more than what you ask. So instead of regenerating everything, we're just going to correct this with a small, precise prompt. We keep everything we like and only fix what's wrong. So for small change like this, you don't always need to prompt again. If you want to save your prompt credit, you can simply fix it manually. In my case, I just want to bring the background black to black and remove all the colorful glow. If you're not comfortable with code, you can still just prompt something like remove all gradient and glow background and keep a clean black background, and that will work. But personally, I like to jump into the code for small adjustment like this because it's faster. And it also helps you learn how thing works behind the scene. Now, instead of opening the full code here, which can be a bit overwhelming, I would just select the hero section directly and use the quick code panel. This way, I'm only editing a small part of the code, which is much easier to understand. So here in the code, you can see the main container of the hero section. Right here, this is where the background is defined. You can see BG in the code right here. If I want a pure black background, I can just change this to 000000, which is the standard black color code in design. Now from the glow effect, if you scroll a bit below the style section, you will usually find something related to the background effect. In this case, we have this block here called something like laser or glow background. This part of the code is just adding visual layer on top of the background. Things like gradient, blur, glow shape. So it's not the main layout. It's just the decoration. So what I'm going to do is simply remove it. I will delete this section from here to here before the header. And don't worry about breaking things. The best way to learn is to test. Delete small part, see what change, and adjust. That's literally how I learn. Once that's done, don't forget to click on Apply Change, otherwise nothing update. And also make sure to save your work manually because it doesn't auto-save and you don't want to lose your change. And that's it. Small manual tweak, but now the design looks much cleaner and more controlled. You don't need to be a developer. Just understand what to remove and what to keep. So next, let's bring some life back into it. Let's explore some background. Inside the asset panel, you can browse different options until you find something that fit your design. You can filter by popular, most used, or mine, which are the components you add yourself. I'm not going to go too deep into creating custom asset right now. We will cover that in a future video. You will also notice this little icon next to each asset that show the creator. A lot of this background actually come from unicorn.studio, which is a really powerful tool for creating interactive background. Some also come from Spline, and that's exactly where these Huly style laser effect come from. So I'm going to explore a little bit and find something close to the original Huly style. Alright, this one is my favorite. It's very similar to the Huly Lazer background of the Huly website. And what's really cool about it is that when you hover over it, it creates this kind of masking effect, like hidden UI element appearing through the light. It's subtle, but it adds a really premium and interactive feel. This kind of detail is what makes a design feels alive. All right, so now that the background is looking good, let's see what else we can improve in the hero section. At this point, the design is already solid. So this part is really optional. You can keep it as it is, or you can start refining small detail like the button. If I click on the button container, you will see there's an option called Replace Component. When you click it, it opens the component asset panel. From here, you can browse different button style and instantly swap them. You can search for anything you want, but in my case, I'm going to the mine section. There are all the components I create myself. Some of them are generated directly with prompt from scratch, and others are inspired from platforms like Ureverse.io, where you can find a lot of creative component ideas. So I will just pick one that fit the style and replace the current button. Now, to preview the button, you can simply click on any button you like. This lets you test the interaction before actually replacing it. And once you're happy with it, just click on Replace. So let's preview this one. This style is actually very close to the original website. And that's nice about it. Is when you hover over the button, the glow border follow the cursor. It's a small detail, but it adds a really premium feel. By the way, this button I actually prompt manually. I was improving one of my older design and I took inspiration from the Huly website. I took a screenshot. So I just asked the AI to recreate a similar button, just something like create a button with a glow border that follow the cursor on hover. And honestly, that was enough. If you want to change the text, you can just go into the Code tab inside the Quick panel. Scroll to the button label and edit it directly here. Super simple. Alright, this fit perfectly. Now one last detail we can improve. Let's add a smooth fade at the bottom of the dashboard. First, select the dashboard container. Make sure you select the parent container, not one of the small elements inside. Then scroll down on the alpha mask setting. Here, you will see two dots. The left dot control where the fade starts and the right dot control where it ends. So I'm going to keep the left side at 0%, then drag the right dot to the left until the fade blends nicely. For example, around minus 55% work well here. You can also adjust the angle. At 180 degree, the fade comes the bottom. If you change it to 90 degree, the fade comes from the side. For this hero, I want to fade from the bottom, so I will keep it around 100 degree. Now it blends much better. The dashboard still stays visible, but the bottom fades smoothly into black, so it feels cleaner and more polished. Alright, now let's move to the next section. We can see that the original design has a lot of complex animated elements inside a clean Bento grid layout. So now we're going to fill those sections with actual visual and interaction. Same workflow again. Take a screenshot from the original website, attach it to the prompt, ask GPT to describe the image in detail before generating. Try not to just say recreate this section. Be very specific. Mention the layout, the UI card, the glow effect, the hover behavior, the floating element, and the animation for each card. The more detail you give, the more accurate the result becomes. Then use this prompt. Recreate this premium dark bento grid section inspired by the attached screenshot. Keep the exact same bento grid structure and proportion. Create a polished SAS UI section with dark glassmorphic car, subtle blue-orange glow effect. On the top left car, keyboard shortcut, interface, etc. All the promise on the description. So let's wait and let's see what's going on. And there we go. Look at all the detail now. The car actually feels alive. The pulse animation are very close to the original inspiration. The layout are filled properly. The lighting feels cinematic. And even the keyboard shortcut section has animated ray and interaction in the background. This is honestly crazy. And the important thing is, we didn't build all of this manually from scratch. We used the screenshots as a visual direction, then guide the AI with a detailed prompt. That's why prompting matters so much. Now, of course, sometimes the result won't be perfect on the first try, especially when the layout has a lot of complex elements, layered car, animation, or overlapping effect. If that happens, don't generate the entire section immediately. Instead, take a screenshot of the specific car or layout you want to improve, then prompt only that part manually. This usually gives much better control and more accurate result. So think of it like refining section by section instead of expecting one perfect generation instantly. Alright, next section. This one is a little different. Instead of focusing mostly on layout structure, this section feels more like a cinematic video layer with UI element on top. The background is basically an autoplay motion video or animate visual. while the main content stays centered in the middle. So this time, we're going to use the same screenshot workflow, but we will approach it a bit differently. Instead of only recreating the layout, we also want to capture the motion feeling, the atmosphere, the transition, and the depth coming from the animated background. Let's take a screenshot and break it down section by section again. There we go. Here, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to recreate only the background, not the full section. I don't want the title, the UI layout of the content. I only want to extract the overall section structure and keep the animated background style. So the prompt, it will be recreate only the background from this reference image, remove all text, card, button, and main layout element. Keep only the cinematic background, lighting, gradient, depth, and motion style. Make it similar to the reference, but change the color slightly so it feels unique. Because my goal here is actually to use this as a generated video background later. And honestly, prompting this kind of cinematic visual directly inside Aura can be a little difficult, especially when there's a lot of motion, lighting, particle, and depth. So instead of trying to recreate the entire effect manually, I prefer extracting only the background first. Then I can use this for image to video generation afterward. This gives much better result and make this section feel way more alive. So I'm asking to change the color a little bit. All right, let's download it. This time, I'm going to do the opposite. So instead of extracting only the background, I now want everything except the background. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to describe the overall section structure. The title content, the center layout, the autoplay video container, the bottom content, the spacing and composition. But I want the background completely blank. So my prompt will be something like describe in prompt this image with the exact same overall structure, title content, maybe change the text, center layout with real autoplay video, and bottom content, but remove the background completely and keep it blank. All right, let's generate it. Perfect. So I'm going to copy my prompt and then go back to Aura. Here is our cloned visual with that empty placeholder. And honestly, we could already continue improving the design from this stage. For example, we could simply prompt something like add more detail inside the main container layout and add a functional autoplay video, something like that. Let's try it. All right, let's preview it. Okay, this is already not bad. We now have a kind of meeting interface layout with multiple sections working together. In the middle, we have the main presentation area. On the left side, we have the participant panel with profile, avatar, role, and microphone status. And on the right side, we have the live meeting chat with message, bubble, and timestamp. And we have the bottom content here. So the structure already feels very close to the original concept. The only thing missing right now is the actual video layer in the center. But that's totally fine because we can simply add our own autoplay video URL later. and replace the placeholder R area manually. That's actually one of the advantages of separating the structure from the asset first. In this case, I want to push the result even further. So I'm going to show you another way to create if you want to create the same exactly as the original design. Here is my second demo that I created, this time with a completely different layout style. Instead of a static centered layout, this one has more floating element, layer depth, and a real autoplay short video using a direct video URL. So it's already feel much more dynamic and alive compared to simple placeholder section. All right, now let's try another style again. I'm going to attach my image reference and I'm going to place my prompt right here. We create the exact same overall section, structure, and composition from the reference image. Keep the background plain white or very light blank gray with no abstract panel, no glow shape, no gradient, etc. Create a clean SaaS landing page section with a centered layout. At the top, place a large bold headline, etc. Let's generate and let's see what kind of result we get this time. All right, let's have a look. This is actually not bad. We got almost the same overall layout and composition. The only thing missing right now is the real video layer, but that's okay. We can fix that later by adding our own video URL manually. For now, the structure is already in place. So the next step is to add the background we generated earlier. This is where the sections start to feel more cinematic because instead of keeping it flat, we will bring back the atmosphere, lighting, and motion behind the main layout. All right, now I'm going to drag and drop my extract background directly into the prompt field. You can also preview the asset before prompting, just to make sure it looks correct. Then I'm going to click on Use as Asset. And now, instead of generating from scratch again, Aura will use this exact visual as a reusable background asset inside this section. So for my prompt, it will be add this asset file as the background of the work together section. Make sure it stays behind all the elements. Keep the current layout unchanged. Add a functional autoplay video player inside the center container instead of a static image. This workflow is really powerful because now we are combining imported structure, generated layout, extracted cinematic background, and real video layer all together into one section. All right, now let's move to the image generation section. Aura will automatically generate all the images used inside the landing page. From there, you can regenerate image with GPT Image 2 or simply keep the current asset if you already like them. In my case, I want to animate the background. So I'm going to open the Generate Video section and find the background asset we added earlier, which is this one right here. Then I will click on the pencil icon to edit the prompt. For the prompt, I'm going to write something like animate the web background with smooth flowing motion, soft cinematic light movements, subtle particle, and atmospheric depth. And for the playback setting, I'm going to use loop so the animation repeats seamlessly. Then I will increase the duration to 6 seconds and it costs 2 tokens to make the motion feel smoother and less repetitive. And for the model, I will keep Grok Images, and this is mainly a cinematic background animation. All right, let's generate it. There's an option to listen to the sound and preview the animate background here if you like it. If you don't like, you reprompt. Cool, let's preview the background. And yeah, this is exactly the kind of result I want. Now we have a real animated video background instead of a static image. The motion almost feels like a water ripple or liquid wave effect, which give much more life to the section. And honestly, it already looks really good. For the video layer in the middle, I simply add my own video URL manually afterward. And performance, this should still be perfectly fine because it's only a short, lightweight looping background animation, not a huge, heavy video file, sacrificing too much performance. All right, let's move to the next section. This one is the GitHub sync section with a large dashboard preview and an animated glowing beam border surrounding the dashboard container. So we're going to use the exact same workflow again. Take a screenshot, ask ChatGPT to describe the image in as much detail as possible, and most importantly, explain the animation we want. Don't just say recreate this, be extremely specific. For example, I'm going to use a prompt like, describe this image in detail, recreate the exact same visual structure, composition, dashboard layout, spacing, typography, and dark premium atmosphere, but change the text content. Keep the large, centered GitHub-style dashboard preview with glowing cinematic lighting. Add an animated gradient beam border with soft glow traveling around the dashboard edge. Include subtle hover, lighting, ambient orange and blue glow reflection, smooth background gradient, and premium motion effect. Keep the overall look futuristic, minimal, and cinematic. The more detailed your prompt is, the better the result usually become, especially for the complex animated UI section like this. Nice! This is exactly what I want. We now have the animated beam border moving around the dashboard edge with the glow effect, and it instantly makes this section feel way more premium and alive. The ambient lighting also blends really well with the dashboard itself. Perfect. All right, let's move to the next section. We're almost done. Okay, this section has a lot of empty placeholder, so this one will be a little more challenging. So I'm going to take a screenshot and let's ask ChatGPT to generate the exact prompt for the structure so the layout look harder to reproduce manually. So I'm going to drag and drop my image reference and ask recreate exactly the same structure, layout, and shape, but change the text. All right, let's copy the prompt. Now let's go back to Aura, then attach my image reference. After that, I would paste the full prompt here. Recreate the same visual structure, layout, composition, spacing, and round a car shape as the reference image, but change all the text content. Keep the same clean white background, soft vertical grid line on the left, subtle blue glow, large bold headline, short subtle, and the same asymmetrical dashboard, car layout, etc. The more detail you give, the more accurate the generation usually become. Great. Let's preview it. All right. We are getting pretty close to the original structure. It's not 100% exactly, but that's okay. The important thing is that we now have the main layout, the overall spacing, and the car structure. The only part that's still a little harder to reproduce is the curved shape on the left side. But honestly, that's fine for now. We already have a solid base, and from here we can keep refining section by section. For the last content section, I'm actually going to skip the detailed breakdown because the workflow is basically the same. Take a screenshot, add ChatGPT to generate a very detailed prompt, paste it into Aura, then iterate and modify the result until you satisfy. All right, now let's move to the footer section. Finally, the last section. And honestly, this one is probably my favorite. A lot of people ask me how I create this kind of futuristic animated footer. When I first saw this clock animation, I immediately knew it was going to be hard to reproduce. There's just so much detail in the motion. The hour hand, minute hand, and second hand all rotate differently. And there's also this smooth glowing trail that follow the movement, creating a really premium cinematic effect. And honestly, the overall design itself already had a lot of small detail layered together. At first, I was pretty sure AI would not be able to recreate something like this correctly. So I start with a normal screenshot first. And honestly, the first generate result looks something like this. Not bad, but definitely not as beautiful or polished as the original. Then I got another idea. Instead of only using screenshot, why not record a small portion of the animation itself? I want ChatGPT to analyze the actual motion more deeply so it could understand the animation behavior, not just the static visual. So here the workflow I recommend. Take a screenshot first like usual, but also record a small focus video of the animated area you want ChatGPT to analyze. Don't record the entire page. Otherwise, the AI may struggle to understand which motion is actually important. I highly recommend using the area recording option and dragging only around the exact element you want to reproduce. In my case, I record the whole footer section because the footer itself is already pretty compact. Then just record a few seconds and move the animation naturally if need. This help AI understand the motion, style, glow behavior, rotation speed, lighting change, and overall animation flow way better. Back to ChatGPT or any AI coding tool like Codec, Plotcode, Cursor, or whatever. This time, I'm going to attach both the screenshot and the recorded video. The screenshot helped the AI understand the visual structure, layout, spacing, typography, and overall composition. But the video is the important part here because now the AI can analyze the motion more deeply. One thing I also want to mention, I don't want the clock hand to rotate like a normal clock. I actually want the hand to rotate in a more random and unusual way, almost like a weird abstract motion. And that's intentional. The goal is not to create a realistic clock. The goal is to recreate that futuristic, strange, cinematic feeling where the hand moves differently and the glow follow the motion. So I would ask ChatGPT to analyze the video carefully and describe the exact layout, the glow trail, the hand rotation, the lighting, and the motion behavior in detail. All right, copy the prompt and go back to Aura. So same workflow again, attach the screenshot, paste the detailed prompt, and generate. For the model, I recommend keeping Gemini 3.1 Pro if you want really strong UI quality and more creative visual direction. Or you can use Cloud Opus if your goal is heavier animation, more advanced interaction, or more complex motion behavior. In my case, I usually stick with Gemini 3.1 Pro because I like the balance between premium UI and creative animation result. All right, let's prompt it and let's see what kind of result it gives us. Wow, look at this. I honestly still cannot believe AI can recreate something like this now. We almost have the same structure, the same layout, feeling, and the clock animation itself looks so beautiful. The hand rotate with that weird cinematic motion, and the glow follow the movement smoothly too. It intensely makes the whole visual much more eye-catching and premium, right? So now my final step is simply to review the entire landing page. Make sure the design feels different enough. Change the text, change the logo, adjust the layout slightly, modify some animation if need, and add your own creative direction. Because again, the goal is not to copy someone else's website. The goal is to understand the design DNA behind website you love and recreate that same feeling in your own way. But one important thing to remember, AI will not always give the perfect result immediately, all the time. Sometimes it works amazingly on the first try, sometimes it doesn't, and when something doesn't work, just find another approach. That's honestly a huge part of the workflow too. Anyway, I hope you found this tutorial useful, and hopefully it gave you new idea on how to recruit, study, and build premium landing page with AI. So thank you and see you on the next video.